Do you cover your eyes the second the music starts getting creepy? Do you flat out refuse to watch movies like The Conjuring even when your friends won't stop calling you a chicken? If you said yes to any of that, what I'm about to tell you might genuinely shock you. You're not a coward. Not even close. In fact, according to evolutionary psychology, you might be the most genetically advanced person in the room. While your friends are chasing a cheap dopamine hit from a jump scare, your brain is quietly doing something far more impressive. It's running high-level survival software that kept your ancestors breathing for tens of thousands of years. Today, I'm going to prove to you with science why hating horror movies is actually a sign of superior intelligence and a threat detection system so powerful, most people's brains can't even compete with it. And by the end of this video, you won't just stop feeling embarrassed about skipping scary movies. You'll realize you're the one built to survive when everything falls apart. So let's get into it. First, we need to talk about the hardware sitting inside your skull, specifically a tiny almond-shaped structure buried deep in your brain called the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's personal smoke detector. It has one job and one job only: to scream danger the instant it picks up on a threat. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for logic. It just fires. Now, here's where things split into two very different experiences. When a horror fan watches a killer chase a victim across a dark hallway, their brain quickly recognizes that the threat isn't real. So, instead of panic, they get a cocktail of dopamine and endorphins, that same electric rush you'd feel at the top of a roller coaster. Psychologists actually have a name for this. It's called the Excitation Transfer Process. They feel the spike of fear, but their brain cushions the landing because it knows they're safe on the couch with a bag of popcorn. For them, horror is a game. But for you, the experience is completely different and far more intense. Your amygdala is hyper-responsive. When a threat appears on screen, your brain doesn't pause to remind you, relax. It's just a movie. It skips that step entirely. As far as your nervous system is concerned, the danger is real. Your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate spikes. Your palms go slick. Your muscles tense up. You are literally, not figuratively, literally preparing to fight or run for your life right there on the couch. And here's the part most people get wrong. That is not weakness. That is a high-functioning, military-grade security system living inside your head. Your brain would rather overreact to a fake threat than underreact to a real one. And from a survival standpoint, that's genius. But here's where it gets really interesting, because the amygdala is only half the story. Have you ever noticed that after watching something scary, you feel completely drained? Like you just ran a marathon? Meanwhile, your friends are laughing, grabbing snacks, ready to throw on another one. That gap, that difference in how you recover, comes down to something fascinating called mirror neurons. These are specialized brain cells that allow you to literally feel what another person is feeling. They're the biological engine behind human empathy. And multiple studies have shown that people who hate horror movies tend to score significantly higher on empathy scales than those who enjoy them. What does that mean in practice? It means when you see a character on screen being hunted, or in pain, or screaming for help, you're not just watching it. Your brain is simulating that experience internally as if it's happening to you. You feel the character's terror in your own chest. You flinch when they get hurt because, neurologically, a part of your brain genuinely believes you are being hurt. You are biologically wired to be incapable of enjoying suffering, even when it's completely fictional. That's not a flaw. That's an extraordinary depth of human feeling that most people simply don't have access to. Now let's zoom out, way out to the evolutionary perspective. Because this is the part that proves, beyond any doubt, that you are a genetic winner. Picture this. Two early humans are crouched at the mouth of a dark cave. Something deep inside just made a sound, a low, wet growl that neither of them can identify. The first human is curious. Their eyes light up. They want the thrill, the rush of the unknown. They grab a stick and walk straight into the blackness. The second human feels something very different, an immediate, overwhelming wave of dread that locks every muscle in their body. Every cell is screaming the same thing: do not go in there. So they don't. They turn around and they run. Now ask yourself, honestly, which one do you think survived long enough to pass on their genes? Here's the uncomfortable truth about our species' history. The thrill seekers were almost always the first to die. The ones who chased danger for excitement, the ones who needed to see what was lurking behind every shadow. They were brave, sure. But bravery without caution has a very short shelf life in a world full of predators. It was the cautious ones, the ones who felt fear deeply, who respected it, who listened to it, that lived long enough to have children. And those children inherited the same finely tuned alarm system, and their children after them, and their children after them, for thousands and thousands of years, all the way down the line to you, sitting here right now, reading this. Your hatred of horror movies isn't some modern quirk or personality flaw. It's an ancient survival mechanism etched into your DNA by countless generations of ancestors who stayed alive precisely because they didn't need to stare danger in the face to feel alive. Your brain is not wired to waste precious energy on fake threats. It's wired to conserve that energy, guard it, and unleash it only when a real danger demands it. That's not cowardice. That's efficiency on a level most people will never understand. And there's one more layer to this that almost nobody talks about. That heightened sensitivity, that deep, visceral reaction you have to fear, suffering, and tension. It doesn't just make you better at surviving. It makes you better at reading people. You pick up on subtle shifts in tone that others miss. You sense when something is off in a room before anyone else does. You notice the micro-expressions, the body language, the unspoken tension that flies right over everyone else's head. Your nervous system isn't just protecting you from jump scares, it's giving you a social awareness that borders on a superpower. And in a real crisis, while the thrill seekers are frozen because they never learned to take fear seriously, you've already assessed the threat, mapped the exits, and started moving. So the next time someone calls you a chicken for covering your eyes, the next time someone laughs because you won't sit through a horror movie, I want you to remember everything you just heard. You are not weak. You are not broken. You possess a highly tuned survival instinct that prioritizes real safety over cheap entertainment. Your brain isn't malfunctioning, it's operating at a level of efficiency that most people can't access. You are the designated survivor. You are the one who stays alive, while the thrill seekers sprint into the dark basement to check out that noise. Embrace your sensitivity. Stop apologizing for it. It means you feel the world at a depth that most people will go their entire lives without experiencing, and that is a strength, not a flaw. It always has been. Now, if you want to unlock more secrets about the way your unique brain actually works, make sure you hit that follow button right now, because in the next video, I'm going to break down exactly why highly sensitive people are often the most effective leaders in a crisis. Why the same traits that make you flinch at a horror movie make you the person everyone turns to when things get real. Trust me, you do not want to miss that one.